is sponsored by Martin Prospecting Equipment. Way off into Asheville Highway, Inman, South Carolina. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's get started on what we're doing with the Martin water table. Hi everybody, I'm Mike Pung from Gold Cube, and we're playing around with the Martin Prospecting water table, the Martin table. And I've done some modifications that I'm actually going to show Todd and really show how to turbocharge a Miller table by Martin Prospecting. Have a look right here. In this zone right here, what I've done is I've taken 150 grit, it's 150 grit sandpaper, and I just take it from the edge, and I'm going to leave this zone alone. I plugged up his glory hole, but I'm going to use this whole area right here as original, and then I'm going to take and just start pulling from the side and coming across. So that's all I'm doing. I'm making lateral lines on there. Now what that's going to do is it's going to create a friction and come back the other way, do exactly the same thing. It's going to come back and create a friction in an area about 3 inches across. So that's going to be like my stop zone. That's going to be where the gold, if it starts to slide, especially the stuff from Lake Superior, Michigan, if it starts to slide, and it will, when it gets to that zone right there, it's going to lock up. All right, so it's going to lock up and not do any more in there. You can see how it looks kind of powdery right now. Now, when the black sands get to this area right here, they're just going to take off running. But the gold's going to be stuck either in this zone right here or before it, you know, stuck the way the water table was designed for in the first place. Now, on heavier gold, it's not going to be a problem, but you get into really flat, flaky, fine, foily gold. Try to say that 20 times. Flat, flaky, foily. Anyway, it's gonna try to kite, and it's gonna be gone. So this zone right here is gonna stop that from happening. Let's get some dirt from Lake Superior, and it's actually concentrates. It's pretty rich, and we're gonna run some of that on here. We're back from Lake Superior. Man, what a fine, fun trip that was. Okay, we just walked over to the sink. This is where all the concentrates are from the years past, and this jar right here is Lake Superior from 2017, and I got Kenai and Cape Disappointment and a bunch of other places. I've even got, this one's actually from Oklahoma, Kiamichi River. But anyway, these are our concentrates that we play with. Now I'm going to take this material right here, and I'm going to take about 4 teaspoons. Isn't that a cool scoop? Just modified, but about 4 teaspoons is all we're going to play with right now, because it's probably going to be about 30,000 pieces of gold in there. All right, let's go over to the water table, and we're going to get this thing started up. Now, we start this up. There's a couple of things I want you to notice. The water is nice and laminar across right there, so with that water being nice and laminar, we got a good flow across the entire table. The pump that we're using, it's about a 500 gallon per hour pump. It's going through a smaller tube, so there's not an extreme amount of water. But the other thing is I've got this table set at a little more of a tilt, because instead of trying to keep all my gold up here and having a pile of black sand down here, I want my black sand to go away. And since we've got this stop region sanded into the mat, it's going to clean out fairly well. Now, one of the worst things about dry material is it can stick to the top and float off. And the stuff that'll stick the easiest is going to be the gold. So what we're going to do is we're going to get that material nice and wet, so it will sink like it's supposed to, and we won't lose any gold. So we're going to take 1 scoop and just come across the front of it. All right, so there's 1 teaspoon right there. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take and push anything that tries to move, just keep it pushed up in there. Now you can see that the black sands are just leaving easily. So you got one piece down here. I'm going to pull it back up. Now remember, this gold is extremely flat and foily, and it's very difficult to capture. So the fact that we've only got a couple getting into the no man's zone is pretty cool. So it's getting right to that top of that zone and quitting right there. It can't get by. Now we're almost ready for a cleanup. Instead of using the glory hole like normal, we just wait till all the black sands are gone. We're going to take this pan just like this and set it under the end. And then we're going to take the paintbrush and just brush everything off. Okay? So all of that gold now is going into our pan. So even if there's gold that's so small you can't even see it, now it's in the pan. And there's going to be that gold that is sub-visual that is going to be difficult for you to even hope to catch a glimpse of it. Alright, so let's put another scoop on there. It's relaxing to watch this. And just absolutely hyper cool when you start seeing that starry, starry night. Just gold everywhere. I mean, I'll tell you what, we had an amazing year this year up in Lake Superior. Everywhere I went last year was awesome. Kenai Beach was just loaded with gold. Cape Disappointment was loaded with gold. It was just an amazing year, especially on the beaches, because we had such hard storms that just really shook everything up. So we'll just keep things brought up to the top. And as things are brought up to the top, we're able to watch that black sand get out of there. Spread it out a little bit. And we're just about ready for another cleanup. I watched the black sands are almost to the end. Okay, I can't see any more black sands. We're going to do a quick cleanup again. See how fast this is? Gold so small that you have to squint twice to see it. And and if you blink, you could lose it just that fast because it's so foily. It's really, really skinny. It's about 200 times wider than it is thick, so it's just like foil. All right, so we'll keep that in there. Remember, you also got to make sure you got some good soap in there. I used or Jet Dry. I got Jet Dry in there, and the Jet Dry helps as a surfactant to keep the surface tension so small that the gold can't ride on top. It'll just pop the bubble and fall through. So we're just going to get that spread out, and as you just keep an eye on downhill here. If anything starts popping loose, just pull it back up in, on the right side of the friction zone there. Boy, this is a good one here. There's a whole bunch of gold in there. A couple of big old pieces. Boy, I tell you what, them that are in there, that's like Lake Superior nuggets. We'll get them down onto the table. If they're sliding around on top of that black sand, we're going to lose them babies. Alright, we'll get it all put back up into there. There's no way, even myself, as good a panner as I am, I could never get this clean this fast. Now, one of the things you'll notice when you go through and you try to re-pan or re-miller table the tailings that are coming off of here, there's probably about 5 or 6% of your gold that is getting away. But you've caught it all, so you really didn't get rid of it. It's just down there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take every bit of this stuff that's in the bottom here, after I've run quarter bucket or half bucket or that big peanut jar full of stuff through here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take and run everything back through the gold cube and make another batch of concentrate. So instead of running tons and tons of stuff, I'm just going to run a cup and a half. And then it'll probably look just as good as this stuff because there's going to be so much less of it. So we'll be able to really get some fun looking gold on there. Isn't that cool? All the black sands are off of there. If you don't have it tilted far enough, you're not going to be able to get all the black sands off. So if your black sands are locking up on there, then you got to add a little bit more tilt to it. And when you modify the table with that 150 grit sandpaper, you're not going to lose that gold, because I'm tipping it farther than this Martin table was designed. So by changing the friction of the surface, it makes it to where I can get through my black sands a lot faster. All right, so that's what we did with the getting all that stuff on there. Let's take it over to the sink, and we'll pan it out, and we'll show you in just a few seconds here how much gold we actually got. We'll shut this off. All right, we're going to come over here and kind of look over my shoulder here. Isn't that cool? Use the backwash and tap. Rub your belly, pat your head. But almost the same way the Miller table was doing. We're just creating a little bit of a fall down there. But that's the stuff that the Lake Superior sands are made of. Got all that in there. Here's a little snuffer etiquette. I always have my snuffer bottle completely full of water, because I like using the jet. You see how I'm using the jet down there? And I always fill it back up after I pushed a little bit. I'm using the jet to corral all that gold along the side of the pan. Now I'm using a drop bottom pan, which is also one of my favorite pans, also from Todd Martin at Martin Prospecting. It's got a very, very hard plastic into it, and when you scratch it up with 150 grit sandpaper, then it has a super friction. Okay, watch this. Isn't that fun? So just like that, I've contained all my gold. So what we did with the Martin table, we made 150 grit lateral line zone on there. You can see where it's still wet. That's exactly where that zone is. So that's what we've done. We created an additional friction to hold that really, really difficult gold to hold, making sure that our angle is higher, so it's got more tilt to it. Our black sand will leave, our gold will be left behind, and then we put a gold pan at the back to capture all of the gold that comes off there just by brushing it off. It's a real easy process, really fast, and you'll be able to get through your concentrates a heck of a lot faster, more accurately, and it'll be a heck of a lot more fun when you got that vial filling all the way to the top. So go get you some gold. That's where I'm going to go next.